Welcome to Expose and Express Live. And here are your hosts, Jenny Umali, Rochi Disagan, and Burns Bayabo. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Expose and Express Live. My name is Jenny Umali, and I would like to introduce to you my very loving co-host, Burns,
I'm loving.
and Rochi Disagan from New Jersey.
Hello.
Yeah, so today I'm so excited because our guest is one of the most famous and renowned in the world of the paranormal and spirituality. He is a Filipino journalist, parapsychologist, author, and professor who has also written a number of books as fruits of his passion and dedication for the beautiful work that he does. He is the founder of organizations that produce research on the paranormal and conducts forums and investigations in this field. These are the Philippine Paranormal Research Society, Silver Mind Control Philippines, Inner Mind Development Institute, and the New Age Breakfast Club. He has a new book out on Amazon called How to Develop ESP, a step-by-step guide to open your third eye. Well, I'm sure I've tickled your curiosity about who our guest is. So without further ado, I would love to introduce to you Mr. Jimmy Licauco. Hi, Jimmy. How are you today? Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for gracing our show with your presence.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure our viewers are excited to hear your story. So I myself is a fan. Your number one fan, Jimmy. Like I said, I cannot contain my excitement, my energy. You just have this beautiful energy that's you're just sending it to me, and I'm so excited. So, like I said, let's get it on, okay? So my first question is, when did your interest in parapsychology or psychic investigation and metaphysics first manifest itself? So, what age did you really find out, and what is your major experience?
It's difficult to answer that when it began. No, there's no definite date it began. I've always had a very curious mind. No? Even when I was still in college, I used to ask questions about what happens after life, and is there a God? And because of religion, I had to to stick to my religious beliefs at that time, and I didn't go beyond that. But I had a lot of questions, and it was only after college that I started reading other books like the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Confucius, and the Islam also to a certain extent. Started reading those things outside the Catholic Church. Because
Mm-hmm.
we're not supposed to do that. When I graduated from AIM, that was in 1970, uh, it took me 2 years to get out of the management mode because AIM is patterned after Harvard University. And all our case, 75% of our cases are Harvard. So basically, our education on AIM is the Harvard education and very, very strict management style, blah, 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 case method. Took me 2 years to get out of that mode. So 72, I graduated there with a master's degree in business management. And then 2 years after, 74, I began to be interested in the faith healers, the faith healers of the Philippines, because it was very controversial, and they were saying it is not true. There's a lot of fraud, deceit, etc. But nobody has given me proof, no. So what I did is I myself did some research. I went with the healers. I studied them. I went to even look under the table and look at whether there is anything there hidden. And I have not found any. But then this news persisted that they are fraudulent, because how can you open the, well, either for those who are not familiar with the faith healing practice in the Philippines, psychic surgery, especially, is the process of opening the body of a person with your bare hands, take out tissues, and then close it without any sign of the incision. That sounds like magic. I mean, it's not logical, it's not physically possible, it's not medically possible. So everything that you hear about it are all, they say it's all deceit, it's all, yeah, it's all sleight of hand. And I
Yes.
wanted to find, totoo ba yun? And what I did really shocked me. It can be done. They're doing it. And we are the only country or the only people in the whole world who can do barehanded psychic surgery. And I cannot understand why local scientists, why local media, why the government, the department, has never taken any interest in studying it, because they already concluded it is fraudulent. Meron silang, ano yan.
Yeah.
In the definition of faith healer, they define it this way: a process, a fraudulent process of healing. That's how, now, sa definition lamang, they're saying it's already fraudulent.
Yes.
What I found out is something different. I've studied this for about 20 years, no? And I have a lot of material. I have x-rays, I have ultrasound, I have laboratory tests, no, of some of this, and at least I have at least five cases where I can prove this medically true, medically proven. But those five are true. The others I cannot vouch, but those five, psychic surgery is real, but I cannot say it's all real.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, you know what? Honestly, this is a very good topic because I myself, I encountered somehow people who doesn't they thought that, you know, I'm not real, I'm fake, that having an open third eye is something that only witches can have, or you know, these are some I but
Yeah, but
Jimmy.
now, Johnny, it's now changing. At least now there are some progressive-minded scientists, medical practitioners, who are open to the idea. And
Yes.
in the U.S., one pioneer institution there in Sausalito, I don't know whether there's still Sausalito, California,
Yeah.
the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which was founded by American astronaut Edgar Mitchell to study these outer fringes of science. And they're pioneering in studying this, which have been ignored, completely ignored by materialist West or mainstream science. They're studying this,
Mm-hmm.
and they're proving, especially Dean Ray Dean, the senior scientist of the institute, has been going on Facebook and YouTube, delivering lectures all over the US, that this is real. There's no statistics. Before there was no proof. Now they have statistics proving that telepathy is real, telekinesis is real, and many other things that we're talking about. There is basis now for believing that there is somehow a greater reality that science has ignored for so many years. And you know
Yes.
what? You know Nikola Tesla. No? Nikola Tesla said, the moment the day science studies non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than all the centuries of its existence. And he's right. If they will only open up, no, their minds to this field, which is so vast, no,
Yeah.
it will make, it will increase, no, the knowledge of what reality is. And right now, not yet.
Yes, you know, honestly, I'm very. I just want to share a little bit of my experience with Jimmy. When I first met him, I'm very happy that I met Zaldi because Zaldi was the one who introduced me to Jimmy. And so I went to his office together with my friend Carla. We went to his office in Makati. And then you know, it's come on, it's Jimmy Licauco. He's very famous. He's always on TV, and you know,
Some say infamous.
yes. But yeah, you know, so I really look up to him. I really respect him. And so, with the minute I enter the his office, I opened the door, and automatically he told me that you're aswang, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I belong. I belong. And then you know what, Jimmy? That was really an awakening for me. Besides from my parents who are very accepting of who I am and the ability that I have, the gift, the supernatural or the superpower that I received from the universe, from God. You're the second person that really made me believe in myself, because you have forgotten about this because you've talked to a lot of people, but you really told me that I shouldn't deny myself to what is within. Because the
Yes.
truth can always set me free. I was so scared that time to show up because, well, in the Philippines, I have a different career during that time. So, if I tell people that I'm a swag, then I don't think, can you hear that? Okay, give me a second. There's
What is
something
it?
so negative going on here on my
I thought there was a train.
oh well, as Jimmy said, always that there's always what do you call that? Interference with the gadgets. So,
Yes.
anyways,
Sometimes
to make the
happen.
long yes, to make the long story short, so Jimmy talked to me about spirituality, and that's when I knew that it's not really bad. Out of curiosity, I actually really asked him that time that, am I a bad person? Am I a bad human being? And Jimmy, I remember you told me this. The only time that you will define yourself as a bad person is when you do bad things to yourself and deny yourself to who you really are. So that was an awakening for me. And I actually looked for you for a very long time and I couldn't find you. And I said, where is Jimmy Licauco? Where is Jimmy Licauco? And I found you.
I retired from the radio broadcast in 2013. I retired from this,
Wow.
and
Yeah. So,
I seldom accepted television interviews after that.
yes. So,
So I
Jimmy,
somehow disappeared from the public.
I know that Rochi and Burns here has a lot of questions to ask, but I want to ask one very important question that I want it for myself. So, Jimmy, when you totally embrace yourself as someone who has a supernatural or ability and a gift, were you afraid in the beginning?
No, I never had any fear. Even my first astral projection, it was voluntary, spontaneous astral projection in 1975. I got out of my body. I was in the ceiling, looking at my body, sitting down on the chair. I I felt good. I didn't. I wasn't afraid. I don't know why. Up to now, I cannot understand why I was not afraid, as if it was something so natural. And you know, I never even ghosts, seeing ghosts. I am not afraid of ghosts. And some people, why are they afraid? They should be afraid more of a living person than ghosts. No.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, Rachi, it's your turn. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I felt like I
No,
don't want
no,
this.
because
Okay.
it's something very interesting. So, Mr. Jimmy,
Yes.
what is ESP? What does ESP stand for, and what does it mean?
Which one?
ESP.
ESP?
ESP?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I don't like the term actually. Even the word paranormal, I don't like it. There's no such thing as a paranormal. There's no such thing as ESP or extrasensory perception. We only have five senses. We don't have, but when we talk of ESP, we are talking of the use of the spiritual faculty of sight, no, and other faculties. These are spiritual faculties. These are not physical. So that's what we mean when we talk of ESP, extrasensory, as if we have an extra sense. Actually,
Yes.
no, there are only five senses. But there is a faculty in our mind that sees these things beyond the physical senses. That's what we call the ESP or extrasensory perception. No, things that cannot be explained by science. No,
So, is this what we call the sixth sense? Is
yes,
it?
it's the same as the
Yes.
sixth sense or the third eye is clairvoyance. The third eye is specific. Is a specific function or ability, which is called clairvoyance, ability to see
Mhm.
things that cannot be seen normally by our physical senses. That's
I,
clairvoyance.
I
Yeah.
have that, Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, we're very different because when I found out that I have the ability, I was so scared. I thought I'm crazy. And I remember I told you this. That's when you said that, you know what, all of us are crazy in our own way. But having an ability is a blessing. Yes, you told me that having a gift and an ability is a blessing. Now, what are you gonna do with it? It's up to you. So
Yeah.
you always live, and then we had dinner after that, and we still continue to talk. And I think we finished at around 12 o'clock, something like that. And I don't want to leave yet. But yeah, but it's always it was an amazing experience to really talk to Jimmy, and I know that we're starting yet, but I cannot thank you enough for being here with us, Jimmy. So,
No,
Rochi
welcome.
Burns.
Yes,
It's a
yes, I have
pleasure
a
and welcome.
follow. Yeah, I have a follow up. When we talk about this gift, is it something that innate to a person, or is everybody? Does everybody has it, or is it a skill that you need to like
Oh,
hone? That you need to
I was gonna ask the
practice.
same question. That's
Everybody
curious.
has it. Everybody. No exception. Everybody has his ability, but it differs in the magnitude or on the potential. Now, for example, everybody can draw. I can draw a cat. I can draw a mouse. But I cannot draw like Picasso or I cannot draw like Amorsolo. No, uh, it's the same thing. No, with people. Some people can sing. I can sing, but off key. But I can sing. Everybody can sing. In other words, there's
Yeah,
a certain degree of ability. Same thing with clairvoyance, with ESP. Everybody has it, but some have more of it than others, are more developed. That's all the difference. But in times
that's
of
right.
stress, in times of emergency, these powers just come out. No,
So
you see.
how do you actually like hone this skill? I mean, this sensory where, because I've heard people say, oh, you have to embrace it so that you can actually see with your third eye. But no matter how that is said to me and how it's described, like, how come I don't see anything?
Well, it takes time, no? If you really want to develop it, but you have the ability, and in
Mhm.
times of trouble, in times of when you need, it comes out.
Mhm.
I have many stories like this. No, there was a man. It's a story in the American. He was in a hurry to go to the office, so he actually entered his car already to back out. No, but somehow something tells him to check the back of the car
Mhm.
before he started it, and he saw the 3-year-old neighbor sleeping right under the in the wheels, or I mean the tires at the back
Whoa.
of the car, was sleeping yung neighbor nila. He didn't see that, but somehow something told him. Now, where did that come from? Intuition. But intuition is
Yeah,
kind of SP, you know. So
that's right.
and I have many examples like this. No,
Also,
telepathy.
yeah.
There's
So we
another
have
one.
yeah.
Excuse me.
We have a question from Trish Fogarty. Is this the same thing as gut feeling or premonition?
Yes, it's the same gut feel, because intuition can manifest as an emotion, it can be expressed physically, sometimes spiritually. So it depends on how it is expressed, and they have premonition, gut feel,
Mhm.
intuition. There are many names for it, but these are all ESP powers.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Is
I've
it something that you could study?
Again, again.
Like is it something that you could study, or you can learn from books or courses, or is it just something on your own?
In the US, especially in California, there are so many groups teaching people how to develop their ESP. No, and some are good, some, well, not so good, but it can be developed by anyone alone without any guru or anybody, just by meditating, doing certain spiritual exercises. But meditation is a must, no, for you to develop intuition and these powers, because you have to go within.
interesting.
It's an
Yeah,
inner power. So when you meditate, you're actually increasing your ability to tap your inner resources.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, without your knowing it, you're becoming more intuitive. There will be more coincidences that will happen to you. You can anticipate things that will happen when you don't know where it is coming from. You become more sensitive to this very, very subtle signal from the cosmos,
Mm.
from the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Wow.
and Jenny can explain this better than me.
Well, I learned from you. Well, as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, he has a book, ESP, and I'm about to buy it. I'm actually telling him that I want the hard copies of his book. So he has a book,
Signed copy.
1976. Yeah, signed copy, and then he has a book, 1976. That was the year I was born, and I told him that I really want it because I want to learn. I want to learn from you. You're my inspiration. You, my goodness, you just don't know how happy I am right now. So first,
I have
Yeah, I
a
found one
question.
copy for you.
Uh,
I'll have it sealed. There's only one copy left of that original. It's not even published, printed commercially. It's mimeograph. It's typewritten.
oh
That's the very
wow,
first one. That was
Wow.
wow.
before National Bookstore published it as a book. It existed as a mimeograph copy, typewritten. Wala pang printing nun.
So I have so earlier you were telling a story about you having an out of body experience.
Yes.
You saw yourself like sitting. That what does that mean exactly? When what happens when you have an out of body experience?
Well, the first place I want to say that it's a natural phenomenon. It's nothing unnatural, nothing supernatural. Everybody goes into astral projection at night, almost everybody, without knowing that they're out of the body. And what happens is sometimes we wake up when we are out of the body. That's when the trouble happens because we get afraid. And you thought you're dead because you can see your physical body lying down, but you're up on the ceiling floating. And that happens to everybody without their waking up in the astral field. So it's a natural ability or natural phenomenon, no? The
So why?
science.
What causes that, and why does it happen?
What happened to me was it happened in a seminar. There were two Americans who came from Australia who conducted the seminar in the Philippines on how to meet your spirit guide, how to, develop certain powers of the energy of people, etc., etc. So I was curious. I didn't believe in it. And in one of the exercises that was done, which has nothing to do with astral projection, they were just uh, moving their hands. Uh, Somebody is placed in the middle, and with closed eyes, the others are going to move their hands, and you're supposed to tell which direction the hands are going. And you cannot tell that because they're far about 1 foot away from you. But in my case, what happened after that? I went out of my body. I became cataleptic. They thought I had a heart attack. The next thing I
wow.
knew, I was in the ceiling looking down at my body. And I said, what the heck? How can I be here in the ceiling and how can I be down there sitting down with my eyes closed? I didn't know that this teacher, the seminar leader, Bettina Lohman, is clairvoyant and she could see me in the ceiling. I didn't know that. Took me a little time for me to wake up. But while in the ceiling, I was looking around and I was looking at my body. I could see 360 degrees. Then I could see
Whoa.
there were 15 of us, including my wife was there, and I could tell what they were thinking of. No, I could tell by just tuning in when I was there out of the body. So there are many things that you can do out of the body that you cannot do physically. Mm. And it's very, very interesting. The first astral projection was not fearful. No, I learned a lot from that experience that we can get out of our body and we can commune with other higher beings if we want to. And
Mm.
it did not scare me at all.
Nice.
So after that, I've been going out of my body. Now I don't do it anymore. No, I don't know why, but maybe it's no longer necessary. I am very seldom out of my body.
I
Oh my
asked that
goodness.
because I've had an out of body experience before. And so I just want to know, like, what does that mean? And I literally like floated from room to room and saw my parents like sleeping in the next room. And so I thought I was dead, like, I was
Yeah.
dying. Oh,
Yes.
we have a question right here from Crispin Francisco Empanado. How do we silence the chatter when we meditate? He says.
Well, it's normal for our mind to chatter. We call it self-talk, and your mind will really disturb you. That's its job, no, to make you to disturb you when you're meditating. There's no way to really stop it completely. You just have to acknowledge it as there. Okay, you're there, fine. And little by little, as you meditate regularly, there is less and less noise inside. This noise, this chatter, self-talk is natural. This natural. The more you try to
Mhm.
stop it, the more it will more strongly disturb you. So
Yeah.
the trick there is to accept it. Say, okay, you're there, you're chattering, and just ignore it. And then later on, you'll have more control over your inner state. There will be less and less of this outward or
Yeah. Yeah.
unnecessary talk.
Yeah.
It will disappear later on.
I had that same like I like my mind races when I try to meditate, and Jenny had taught me like, yeah, you should try meditating. And when I try to close my eyes, then there's so many things that in my mind, things I have to do, things like that. And then um I think what helped me the most is actually the breathing, like having the counting and the breathing. And so I'm having to focus on the breathing itself and not thinking of other things, but just the breathing. And she taught me the, what is it, 4-7-8?
Yeah.
And so inhale 4 seconds. And so in my mind, I'm just counting until it became second nature of how I, you know, breathe when I'm meditating, and so that chatter goes away.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
as
Well,
you
That's
said,
exactly
practice.
what I was saying.
yeah.
Yes, exactly what I was
So,
saying.
so Jimmy, I really appreciate that you mentioned that because I always tell my students and my clients that meditation is not really telling your mind to shut up and stop or silence your mind. It's more of like allowing your mind and your body to connect to each other, like respect each other. Because our mind starts to wander every like 90 seconds, and there's no way that
Right.
it's gonna stop. Automatic, it will say something. I love the word self-talk. So I always tell them that if there any thoughts arises, then it means that you need to acknowledge that, because it will not be there and need your attention if it doesn't need to let go or to heal or anything like that. Because our mind will always tell us what not to do.
Maybe those thoughts needed to be processed within ourselves. Like, when it comes up, it needs to be processed within ourselves and until it goes away. You
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are two Netflix documentaries I want to suggest. No,
Oh.
there is a documentary film on how to meditate on Netflix. It's very good. I like the way they presented it on how to meditate. Not really, they presented it the traditional way. Then the other one is surviving death. Surviving death is a fantastic. In fact, I wrote an article, my article on Tuesday, and it's about that Netflix film documentary on surviving death. It's all about what happens after death. It has on near-death experience, communication with the dead, the mediumship, how they are trained in England and the Netherlands. Even reincarnation is there, and people who see ghosts. This is a fantastic six-part series on Netflix. They do not. What I like there, they do not force people to believe one way or the other. They're just presenting things that they saw, or that
Mhm.
they interview people, and it's up to you to agree or disagree, or to accept or not to accept.
Yeah.
That's what I like with it. No? It's non-committal, and they don't force you to believe what they were saying.
Well, actually, Jimmy, when you told me about that, I watched it and I finished it, and I was like, oh my goodness. Especially what really surprised me, to be honest with you, is the reincarnation. I
Oh
believe in
yeah.
reincarnation, but hearing the stories of these young children who actually talk about their past lifetime, I was so curious because now I want to know more of my my experience in my past lifetime. But you know what, Jimmy, I truly believe that I have already seen my past lifetime before. I died 1960 together with my daughter. We had the same dream. So we were hit by the tsunami, and it was in Chile. What I did is it was very clear when I dreamt of that, and so I wrote it. And then I wrote it, and then I talked to my daughter about it, and she said that, Mom, remember, I told you 2 months ago that I had a dream that we were hit by the tsunami and we died. And then I remember she told me that. That's when I knew that it was 1960. So I Googled it. There was 1940 and 1960. And I used my pendulum. My pendulum, it says no to the 1940. 1960, it's like, the pendulum, right? This pendulum actually, it turns like super strong circular motion and saying yes. And then during the 1960, it was in Chile, and this is one of the very bad, or what you call this, damage, the very bad damage that the tsunami happened 1960. So I believe that I was reincarnated, but at the same time, I'm still the mother of my daughter. So I think it's just like a continuation of our lives together. So my question is, I also read a book about whoever this person in our lives right now in the present moment is actually already part of our life in our past lifetime. So do you believe in that? That there's these people around us or our family members is what already part of our past lifetime?
Yes, any close relationship, no, parents and child, teacher and student, close friendship, all this, boss and employees. Uh, it means that you have met before. It's very because the soul does not forget. We seldom meet a person by accident because the soul never forgets. No, so
Oh
that's
my
a
God,
reality.
that's I mean, that hit me.
It's very easy to prove that. And you meet a lot of people. There are some people you gravitate towards that person. You like that person right away. There are some people you hate right away, and they don't like you. No. So why do you hate that person? Because you remember something in the past that they did to you.
It's like, oh, I saw this guy and my blood boils right away, something like that.
Honestly,
I guess there
I,
are triggers too when you meet somebody and the reaction. I mean, the interaction
energy.
between the two will have like a trigger that would trigger that memory, maybe, or that behavior. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Like the TV show where this child remembered who he was, that he was murdered, and he knew exactly. He remembered the name of his parents, and
Yes,
he was shown photos of where he
definitely.
used to live and his parents. Oh my God! It was really interesting.
Yeah, Jalen. I think his name is Jalen Robinson. The
Yeah, yeah,
mother
Yes,
was
Jalen
watching from
Robinson, something like that. I think.
6 years old. He remembered
yes.
everything.
And a child like that
He
wouldn't lie
and
about things like
and
that.
they found the news clippings of that story. There was really such a person. A child was killed at 11 months old. He was killed, and he remembered that killing, that he was killed.
Yeah,
So
Yes,
it's so
everything, the details.
interesting.
So how can you question that?
I know, right? So another question is that I know that there's like a tons of supernatural things that you have experienced. So did you have a client or a friend or a student that has an extraordinary story that really surprised you, or you felt like this is amazing, this is beyond,
Well,
like
there are plenty. There are many
can you give
stories.
us
Can you
one?
share with
Yeah,
us?
can you share us one
Share with
amazing
us.
story?
And right now I cannot think of any, but I have written 17 books, no, and one ebook, and I have thousands of articles, no, and in some of these articles I have talked about these extraordinary experiences of people, of meeting ghosts or meeting supernatural beings, no. Ang dami niyan eh. And things like materializing before them. I myself
Mhm.
have seen ghosts siguro 4 or 5 times, no? And one even accompanied me in the elevator, no? Three ghosts. I didn't know they were ghosts. I was with a group of three in the elevator, and they didn't know they were ghosts.
Oh wow.
You want to hear that story?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay. I had a meeting in Makati, an insurance company, at the ninth floor of a building near my office, the well-known building. After the meeting, my host, head, Ed, brought me to the elevator, 4 elevators. He brought me to the first one nearest us and touched the down button. The elevator door opened and yeah, open, and then it went up, instead of going down. So I did not enter. And then when when it went down again, I saw three people, uh, construction workers in gray construction uniform, yung gray suit, non-construction workers. So I entered the elevator. Instead of going down, it went up to the 11th floor. So I said, that's funny because it was the down button that was pressed. So siguro may nauna sa akin doon sa upper floor. So that's logical again, no? Looking for logical reason. Then when I went back to my office, I couldn't, hindi ako mapakali, no? So, so, so I asked Ed, no, um, when I entered this elevator, did you see the three construction workers that are inside the elevator? He said, what construction workers? The ones inside, there were three of them. One is taller, the other one in the middle, and even greeted me. Jimmy, you were alone in that elevator when you entered. I saw you. I was beside you. There was nobody in that elevator. I said, "Hindi, meron." And we were arguing, no, because they're solid. Okay, so I stopped talking, arguing about it. Just tell me, do me a favor, sabi ko. Uh, tell me tell me the history of this building. What happened? After 1 week, he called up and said, Jimmy, this building, when it was being constructed, the ninth floor collapsed and several construction workers were killed, died in that accident. What were they wearing? A gray uniform, construction workers uniform. There were three there accompanying me, and they were ghosts. I didn't know, you know.
Well, I think they're a very good ghost because they're trying to guide you.
Imagine, yeah.
Guys, you're muted.
Okay. What's that again?
So you know what, Jamie? I don't know if you call it an astral travel. Burns, you're muted. I don't know if you call it astral travel because for some reason I can actually describe my friend's house or my client's house or my student's house even if I haven't been there. Like
Okay.
literally describe the whole place. And Burns can attest to that. And a lot of people here knows that I'm really good at that. So can you please explain that?
Yes. That's called remote viewing or
Oh,
clairvoyance. It
I'm
is
gonna
not
write this down.
necessarily it's not necessarily astral projection. However, there are times when in our attempt to see another place, no, to project your consciousness, sometimes your astral body goes with it. So that becomes astral projection, but it is not necessarily astral projection. It's remote viewing. And remote viewing was studied in 1970 to 1990 at the Stanford Research Institute in Menlo Park, California, no? The SRI Institute, no? Stanford Research Institute, by two physicists, Dr. Russell Targ and Harold Pathoff, who studied this, whether somebody can really project his mind to another place and describe it. And they were able to, after 20 years, they were able to prove that it is true. This study is very secret, very confidential, and classified information. This study was done or was financed by 4 agencies of the U.S. NASA, the FBI, the military intelligence, and the CIA. And this is so secret, nobody knew, except in the top levels of the government, knew there was such a study. They call it the Stargate Project. No? And in 1990 or 2000, they classified this. No? After the study, there are now, in fact, many military people, intelligence people, being taught remote viewing by Dr. Russell Targ. And I met Dr. Russell Targ personally in Menlo Park, California in 1990s, or I met him, we had dinner, and we had a long talk about the remote viewing. I have modified the scientific protocol they developed as SRI. I have a more simple way of developing people remote viewing ability, much more simple than what they're doing at the SRI. You know? And I told that to Dr. Russell Targ, and he was laughing after that. He said, "And how long do you teach these people?" I said, 2 hours.
Oh my God.
2 hours.
Very
So-
study. Sometimes in 30 minutes I can make you do that. Huh? So they said, and he laughed. Jimmy, we know 2 things. People think that psychic ability is given only to a few people. We know that it is everybody has it. Yes, and number 2, they think it's difficult to train people, and we know it's not true. It's very easy to train people how to do this. And I agree. We had a good laugh after that. Russell Targ is still around. I mean, but he's no longer with SRI. He became a senior scientist in a big aircraft company in the U.S. after
Wow.
his stint at SRI. He's still alive. He does lectures on remote viewing.
Wow. Who is this again, Doctor?
Russell Targ, Russell, and T as in tao or sintoy. Russell Targ. You're searching. It's a very nice fellow.
Oh my God. So, you know what? This is so legit.
Wow.
This is a confirmation that I'm real. This is a confirmation that there's such thing.
Oh,
So who is
Are you serious? Are you doubting yourself after all the experiences that you have?
there's nothing that an experience to prove something to you. I myself did not believe this. It took me a long time because I have a very logical mind. I have very analytical. I took up philosophy. I thought logic in college. I'm very, very strict. It's only after I have proven that this is true and I have experienced this thing that I believed in it. Otherwise, I couldn't believe this. No, it's not scientific, and it's no proof. But when you prove it to yourself and you experience it, there is no way you can deny it because you experience it. And that's the best way, is for you to experience. That's why in my class, in my ESP, I let them experience that.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no, he froze. I was gonna ask it.
there?
Oh,
there-
you're back. You froze a little bit.
You're back.
Okay.
You froze a little bit. So I was gonna ask, does philosophy have anything to do with parapsychology and spirituality?
Philosophy has something to do with everything.
Well, that's true. I agree with you.
Science. So yes, there is a philosophical question there of what is reality. That's metaphysics. No? In philosophy, there's a branch of philosophy called metaphysics. It studies what is real, no? What makes something real. What they study it. Of course, that is a philosophical question, and that is something that we ask, no, in parapsychology. Is this real or not? So there is definitely philosophy is involved in everything, every science, even in physics and science. Philosophy is there. You cannot remove it. That's the queen of the sciences.
Jamie, how about the psychic readers, card readers, astrologers? So, I mean, I myself can actually do energy reading and card reading. For some reason, I just know how to do it. And I didn't even practice that, or I didn't study that. It's more of like automatically, I knew, I just know how to do it. So, So, for example, Rochi here, she's very drawn to people who she likes card reading. She'd always ask me to, "Hey, Jenny, can you do card reading for me, please?" So, what do you think? What do you think is what is psychic ability?
It, it's like breathing. It's like
It's like
talking.
breathing.
Talking.
Breathing.
Anybody can talk. Psychic ability is natural. It's that, but it's not recognized. We all have intuition. That's psychic ability. No, people just ignore it. That's the whole problem. We all have it, and we don't acknowledge this. This is coincidence and all that, or it's
Yeah.
hallucination, etc. We always give this kind of reason, but it's there. If we can only acknowledge
It's there.
that, then we can develop it further. No, but we ignore it. So people, they don't develop it because they're ignoring it.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
I
Whereas
wonder
for
why
those who
they.
have experienced it and practice it, then they are able to do this more often, no, than others. But
You
everybody
know,
has to get.
I used to be a skeptic about psychics and mediums and all that crap before. And then I had to witness Jenny with some of our friends or clients and some spirits actually following us. And it's just mind-boggling how like she's able to really connect to these spirits who have, passed on. And I don't know even to where to begin, but there's so many instances where I'm literally right there witnessing it happening as she's talking and connecting with the spirit, and then the person that they're right in front of us and they're like breaking, bawling because everything she's saying is true. And I'm like, where the heck is this coming from? Like, she doesn't know this person from squat, and she's blurting out all these things that she know about this person. So,
Yes.
I mean, like, how do you even develop that, like, ability? Like, how?
Wow.
There are books, there are courses like that, but you can attend my seminar also.
Yes,
My
Jimmy.
book, for example, my book, the latest, which is available at Kindle and Amazon.com, is an ebook called How to Develop ESP. It's a step-by-step manual, instructor's manual, how to develop telepathy, how to develop remote viewing, how to develop telekinesis, psychometry. There are 6 or 7 different psychic skills you will learn by just reading the book. I mean, doing the exercises, you will develop this. And I guarantee you about 50% of the exercises there you will be able to do at once, no? The very first reading. You will be able to prove to yourself that you can, because it's a very practical book, no? You have to do the exercises and you can prove to yourself that that you can do it, no? I've been teaching this for so many years, and there, for example, in telepathy, there are 70% of the class are able to do it. Remote viewing, 90% to 100% of the class are able to do remote viewing. Telekinesis, about 40%. Yung pinakamababa ang 40%. Psychometry, about 60-70% are in first time. They're able to do all of these things. No? Given an object and then holding that object without somebody you don't know, and they can read the person who owns that object. That's psychometry. And it's in the book. And
What is the title of your book again? I'm trying to look for it on Amazon and it won't show.
ESP by Jaime Licauco. So, Rochi, do you have any questions that for Doc Jimmy? Oh, now Doc Jimmy, right?
Yes. So, since you're telling us that everybody has that ability, but most people are, I would say, more advanced, what is the advantage of ESP? I mean, how could you use it in practical ways aside from doing card reading and like that one for people? I mean, for in general, how could we use it?
What are the benefits, right?
Benefits,
not in
yes.
general. I can give you specific examples. No, it has a lot practical value, although we don't realize it. Example: telepathy. No, what is the practical value of telepathy? Is knowing the intention of a person. That for example, in when I was in personal relations, no, in human resources, that was my job for many years, in several companies. I could tell the motivation of people who are applying,
Blind.
and I could tell even their intelligence level before giving them the tests. I could tell already, So that's one practical thing. And in fact, there's one example I had. This one applying for a secretarial position in a company was so surprised when I asked her, how do you really need this job? And so, I need this very badly, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, you don't actually need this. Actually, you're using it only as a ploy or as an excuse because you want to go abroad and there is a European waiting for you there. And you're using this as an excuse. She was so shocked because she was really using this as an excuse. If she gets it, she won't go to the German guy. And then
Wow.
she thought, why didn't you tell me that this guy's going to interview me as a psychic? Because he knew everything about me. So, those things, that's practical. In telepathy, for example, you can use telepathy in selling. For example, you can project positive thoughts to a client before you talk to him that he will sign the contract or get an insurance or buy your product. Or you can telepathize your boss to give you a raise or promote you. I mean, there are so many. Psychometry, for example, there are many what they call psychic detectives. They are given an object belonging to a criminal or somebody. They can find the criminal or missing person, and they have helped the police. I was in the Netherlands in the 1994. I came from Dusseldorf, Germany, and I talked to the head of the psychotronics, that psychic research organization in the Netherlands, and he showed me a letter from the chief of police of that place in the Netherlands. I forgot the place of that Netherlands where John Marie Season is. What's that place in the Netherlands? I talked to the head of the psychotronic research, and he showed me a letter from the chief of police of that place that 12 murders of that year were solved with the help of psychics. 12.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I did not ask for a copy because it was in the Danish language. So I did not ask for a copy, but I should have gotten a copy of that testimonial from the chief of police that they use psychics to solve problems, criminals. That's
Wow.
practical. Ang daming gamit yan eh. It's very practical. Remote viewing. Now the CIA is teaching almost all people in the CIA how to do remote viewing, to spy on the Russians and all that. They're doing that now. But what they don't know, China and Russia was doing it to the Americans.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I use the remote viewing. Excuse me. When I'm when I'm looking for a negative energy of my client's house. Wow, my throat chakra, it hurts. Anyways, so and then it's funny, Jimmy, because the only place that I will see is the place where there's a lot of negative energies, like where the vortex is. And then so when they ask me to smudge their house, I'm still surprised, like, OMG, this is the place that I really saw during my consultation with her. And so automatically, like, I know where the negative energies are, and I'll go there directly.
True.
And I'm glad that you confirmed that. And then a lot of my clients actually can see the difference of the energies. Like for example, we go to their basement, okay, and of course the basement when we haven't smudged it yet, it's so dark, and then we can see the movements of the energies after
Wow.
smudging. She's not a believer, but when she saw me, as the minute I opened the door, she saw me and she said that it was Thanksgiving last year. She said that the minute I saw you, I saw that you have a light. It's like a spotlight behind me, and
Wow.
then she automatically felt like she's drawn to that energy.
Yes.
And during that time, I told Burns that, hey, today it's Thanksgiving Day. I'm not gonna talk about my business. I'm not gonna do card reading. I'm not gonna do anything. You know what? I end up talking to this woman for the whole Thanksgiving day, Thanksgiving dinner. And so she really saw the movements of the energy, and we saw it. And then, to be honest with you, I every time I do such a magical stuff, I'm still surprised, and I'm very thankful. I'm very glad that I'm using it for helping people. You know, so talking about Rochi with what you just said, that what are the benefits? It will benefit you really, to be honest with you. It will benefit you a lot, especially when you're going to use it for the highest good. With me, with my Reiki healing, with my tarot card reading, I always include spiritual life coaching. You know, so I think when you have the psychic ability, you can actually see what is beyond what that person is also thinking. You see beyond what's inside their body, what's inside their spirit. And as a healer, when I meant, but what I meant by when I see beyond is I see all the hurt, all the negative things, all the past traumas. And then before, every time that I heal a client, it affects me. Like I cried, it pains me, it hurts me. But then through meditation, through the spiritual practice, which is I'm teaching now, that really balanced my energy. I can still sympathize and empathize with them, but it's more of like my intention is to use my gift and my ability to heal them. And Jimmy, I remember that you're also doing the regression, right?
Yes, I do
And
past life hypnotic regression. Yes.
yes, you did that to Carla, and she told me a very amazing experience because it's one of my friend actually did that too. And then I left. I left for the U.S. 2013 and 2014. I left for the U.S. So, anyways, can you talk to us about just a little bit, and then I hate to say goodbye for now, but can you tell us about your
I
regression? Do you
know.
still do regression?
Well, yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because in Kalambayan, January, no, February 6th, I have a Zoom seminar. You can join on
I will.
Soulmates, Karma, and Reincarnation, where I conduct a regression. I don't call it a hypnotic regression because people misunderstand the word hypnosis. It's more of a meditation
Yeah.
guiding you by past life. And I talk about reincarnation, the proof of reincarnation, and I talk about what karma really is, how karma works in our life, and then soulmates, how to find your soulmate, how to recognize whether you've met your soulmate. And you can join that. It's going to be on February 6th. It's a Zoom, and we can give you, it's a
Good.
3-hour program. For Manila time, it's 2 to 5 p.m. Manila time on February February 6th, 1 week before Valentine's Day. I'll have
Yeah.
a seminar on soulmates, karma, and reincarnation. And everybody in any part of the world can join that seminar for a very,
Yes.
very small.
Yes, I really like this is so fruitful. This is just so juicy and amazing. Honestly, I really don't wanna stop talking about this, especially with you, Jimmy. I mean, you're just truly amazing, and I can't help myself. I'm just so odd, and you know, I'm your number one fan, and I wanna be just like you someday.
I'm actually very ordinary. I don't have any talent that you don't have.
See, that's what I like about Jimmy. You know, he will always tell us, or even me when I met him, he would always tell me that we're all special. We all have the gift and the ability. It's how you will really truly embrace who you are. That's I mean always all the time. Every time I have a low vibration or I would think of if I feel like I'm not enough or I doubt myself, I would always like remember what you said. You have to believe in yourself and know that you can use your power for your own self too and for your own intention. So I really want to thank you, Jamie. I can't thank you
Oh,
enough. I really love you.
welcome.
Is there anything else that you would want to promote? Let me show you. Let me show this to a lot of people there. So guys,
Oh,
please,
thank you.
yes,
That's
please.
right.
Yeah. So this is the. Can you talk to us about this book, Jimmy?
How to
This
develop
book,
ESP.
it gives you a
How
step-by-step
is that?
procedure, how to do telepathy, remote viewing, telekinesis, psychic reading, you know, uh, I think even how to use the pendulum. I think it's included there.
I love the
Very practical.
pendulum.
It's a very practical book. No, the pendulum is a very, very useful tool. People underestimate it. But if you look at the history of how it was used, even during World War II, my golly, how certain things were saved at the time by using the pendulum. And people, ang daming uses niyan. Knowing your thickness, knowing the food whether it's poisonous or not. You can tell even whether the person's lying or not through the pendulum. Choosing between two
Wow.
lovers, which lover is better? Pendulum.
Shh,
Okay,
oh, don't say that. That's my secret.
so you're using that.
I
Okay,
actually also use
holding
the
it up.
pendulum. I also use the pendulum when I'm looking for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use this. I use the pendulum all the time. So I call my pendulum doesn't lie. My
Yes.
pendulum don't lie at all.
But you know, I'm
Jenny has
only
this
90%.
client, and
I'm only 90% correct, but it's 90% is better than zero. No? So I use the
Yes.
pendulum uh, quite a lot for certain. Even finding out whether medicine is good for you or not. I sometimes use the pendulum, and there are some medicines I don't take because my pendulum says yeah, not to take it. No, so but I don't tell my doctor that.
he might think you're cuckoo.
Okay. All right.
So Jenny has a client, and she had moved, and she had misplaced a stash of money, and we're there like going crazy. All her helpers are looking for it. Nobody has found it, and we went in, and Jenny said, "Okay, let me ask my pendulum. Oh, it's in the house. Oh, it's in the master's bedroom. It's in a like stack, or it's inside another thing."
Bag. Yeah.
It's and then suddenly the client found it. He says, "Oh
So
Yeah,
my
I was,
God, it's inside this. Oh look, it's
yeah.
my
And
personal
yeah,
wallet."
that's very true. That is true.
yeah. And I told her that I was inside the closet and I'm not leaving the closet. And I said, so it's still here, it's still here. So I'm holding my pendulum, right? And it's funny. So she was inside the closet with me, the walk-in closet with me. And then she was holding the purse already. And it's funny because my pendulum was moving towards her.
Wow. Ang ganda
Moving
ng
towards.
pendulum mo. Is that a crystal? Is that a quartz crystal?
Yes, so there's
Okay.
actually like
Is
inside,
It's
clear
a
quartz.
rose quartz, isn't it?
yeah, so there's like a crystal inside. This is the
Okay.
citrine.
The
Oh,
citrine.
Yeah.
so it's
Citrine.
something
And
inside.
yeah, and then I have I'm a crystal healer too and a crystal reader. So I use a lot of crystals.
Oh, I
We'll,
see.
we'll we'll
Okay.
have to send Jimmy one in exchange
Yeah.
for his book.
That would be nice.
Oh, oh, of course, of course.
We'll
Jimmy,
send you
what
one.
do you want, Jimmy? Say what you want,
Wow,
Jimmy.
wow. I almost said I want you. No, that's
You
very
have me
true.
already, Jimmy. You know what? I believe that in our past lifetime, Jimmy and I were lovers.
Mm, siguro nga. You can
Yes,
feel it, no?
no, seriously, we love each other. Like, seriously, I am so attracted to Jimmy. When I met him, I'm like, but I'm leaving.
Energy.
I'm on my way here. So, and Jimmy's married.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Johnny.
Yes, I love you, Jimmy. And so, you guys, if you want to know more about, of course, the very famous Jimmy Licauco, I kid you not, he's the best. Not one of
Well,
the best, but for me, he's the
thank you
best.
so much.
So if you want to learn more about your gift and your spirituality, besides from calling me and asking me questions, this guy knows a
You
lot.
know,
So
they
you
can
go to,
email me, and they can email jaime@yahoo.com. My name yan,
so
jaime.licauco
Can you
at
type that
yahoo.com.
in? Here, let me type that in. I think I can type it in.
Jaime Licauco.
Jaime, T as in toy. Jaime.licauco at
Yeah.
yahoo.com.
How
That's it.
Okay.
Very simple.
Yahoo.
.com. Yeah.
All right. I think I put it in. Hopefully, look in the comments.
Yeah, here.
Yes, it's there.
Yes.
So we're sending
there you go.
emails.
Yes. So
Good luck to your inbox.
Trish said that
Okay.
this is so awesome. Thank you so much, Sir Jimmy.
Thank you also for
And Valerie said, awesome
inviting
show.
me.
And Crystal Mamuyak said, all your books look very interesting. Can't decide which one to buy first.
So you need to get all three then. Oh, there's three of them in there.
Guys, believe it or not,
I know.
I'm a hoarder. So I asked Jimmy, send me, I'm going to buy all your books. I want it a copy.
Thank you. Sayang, you're too late. Many of my books are out of stock now, or out
I
of
know.
print.
Well, I'm not surprised,
Wow.
Jimmy.
I
I'm
will
sure I'm still going to get
available
them.
for you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you so much, Jimmy
Thank you also.
Licauco.
Thank you,
And I really
Burns,
appreciate you.
Rose.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you to Faith as well.
Bye-bye.
Present from us. I
See you
love you
again.
guys. So,
I hope
guys,
not in
thank
the
you
next
so much.
lifetime, in this lifetime.
Yes, next lifetime. Thank you guys so much
Bye-bye.
for watching.
It was,
We'll
it
see
was
you
fun.
again.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you, thank you. Bye, Jimmy. We'll
Bye.
see you again this Saturday. Our guest for this Saturday is Lovely Rivero and her daughter Nadine Noco. And this is going to be a Valentine's special for all of you. So please stay tuned this Saturday and Sunday in Manila. So I love you guys. I am sending you love, light, healing, and
Yeah,
abundance.
right.
Bye.